Welcome to Paul's second challenger. Defeated his first challenger easily with a 25-minute series roughly. This series will probably not be quite so easy. It's going to be Paul versus CaptainSPrice, one of the most successful Star-Crossed kings there's ever been. I think he's currently in third place for longest reign ever in Star-Crossed Kings, which is respectable, certainly. So he's had his fair share of tournament experience, and or at least King of the Hill experience. And he's going to be playing as U.S. forces here in Game 1 against Paul's Auxerre. So this could prove a difficult game for Paul, at least initially. Price always does this. Here comes his signature wire on the cutoff. Always fun to see that those habits being repeated. You can sometimes just tell who the player is without even seeing their name. Not that Price is the only person who does this, but it's just something that I've never seen him not do. He's going to go with a 2-rifle opening. His commanders are Airborne, Recon, and Rifle Company, and then Paul's got Mechanized Assault, Close Air Support, and Elite Troops. And Grenadiers making their way across the north. Pios actually do a little wiring of their own here from Paul, trying to deny this avenue of approach, and this one also, hopefully. Try and get the munitions captured with these Grens. Paul going very hard for the right side munitions initially, setting up defenses and sending all units to this area to try and make sure he holds on to this munitions, and we've seen that is a very common behavior for Auxerre in the early game. Wow, what is this? What's happening here? A little bit of some inefficient capping there by those riflemen. They were heading left, and Price changed his mind, retreated, and started sending them north, where they will probably not be successful since there's a lot of barbed wire being thrown down. There's a lot of units in the general area to support, so riflemen may struggle to accomplish anything other than the capture of that strategic point. These two squads taking the south will get the fuel, start working their way towards the munitions and other points, while Grenadiers are running straight for this building to try and give Paul vision of his opponent's movements. Riflemen get one volley off on those Pios, which does very minor damage before they get to safety. Riflemen grabbing the strategic point, and Pios moving up towards the fuel. Ooh.
Have cut our supply line. Frontline units are being hung out to dry.
Grenadiers jump inside of this building. Second squad of Grenadiers trying to move to support here. Riflemen should be able to win this. There's only one southeast facing window. They switch targets to the squad outside the house, dealing huge damage. Expose themselves slightly to the squad inside the building. Two squads now working on the southeast face of that building. Seem to be forcing Paul back. This squad in green cover trying to bleed that squad on the approach, so it backpedals slightly while the full hill squad dives into point blank range, and there's the retreat from that squad. This squad will also have to pull back to safety. Thanks for the follow, clear in. Grenadiers catch some rear echelon troops right there. They're definitely going to have to retreat. Grenadiers will jump out of the red cover just to be safe. The rear echelons actually managed to drop one Grenadier model, so that's something, I guess. Riflemen secure the church, jumping inside of there. Price has gotten up to 4 riflemen and is purchasing himself BARs already, his initial munitions. That should help him in these short-range engagements. That squad of Grenadiers stands no chance and is forced away. And Paul will continue to position himself in green cover at range, try and slowly work on those riflemen from a distance. BAR squad is on its way to the front line. They should give Price the tools he needs to close into short range and force more retreats from those Grenadiers, try and get more map control. Pios have taken control of everything here in the north. Paul might consider throwing down some additional wire, or just try and get this point captured. He will be pretty much unopposed for now. Rear echelon troops are reinforced, and they're going to make their way north to take control of some territory up there, and Price is going to go with a 5th rifle squad. So he's going very hard into early infantry.
A capture point. Rifle squad ready for action.
Pios will catch these rear echelons trying to make their way towards the VP. BARs are upgraded on these riflemen as they make their way towards those pios. Rear echelons will secure the building right there. Riflemen may prove difficult for Paul to engage against. I see one BAR on that squad and one, I think. Yeah, one on that squad. So 2 BARs total. Not too bad yet. Pios should be able to get away, if only narrowly. So not too much manpower bleed for Paul right there. And they just finished upgrading with a flamethrower as well. All 3 Grenadier squads are going to make their way towards this cutoff to try and push away those riflemen. Both of them have gone with a 5 infantry squad opening, by the way. 5 Grenadiers to 5 Riflemen. That should give Price a slight advantage having BARs on his squads, but Paul will have a slight advantage having a flamethrower. So it's really mostly just going to come down to how each army gets used. This Grenadier blob on the left side has no problem forcing away that rifle squad. And Price is going to go with a 6th rifle squad now, and still no tech whatsoever, just riflemen.
Just came through.
Riflemen inside this building falling to about half. This squad set up in green cover in the middle, getting led by these Grenadiers in the house. More Grenadiers moving to support against them. Flamethrower on its way to try and flush Price from this building, while rear echelons continue to harass territory here in the north and set up a triple cap against Paul, which he will try and slow down with this Gren squad in the middle, taking heavy damage from the BAR squad in the church, though. Don't know if Paul's monitoring that. There they go. Late retreat, though. And they go down in the red cover, and that's the first swipe of the game for Price, which he picks up with his BAR point blank range on those Grens. That's going to hurt. Paul fields himself a mortar. He's probably going to need to get some lucky wipes with that thing to turn the game back in his favor. I don't think he's battle phase. Yes, he is. He is battle phase 1. Maybe a little prematurely since Price hasn't teched at all. So that definitely hurts him a little bit. Rifle grenade on that squad brings them quite low. They'll be forced to retreat, and Grenadiers will maybe have an opportunity to harass a little bit in the south. These Grenadiers take control of the church, and with the mortar moving up into a more aggressive location here, Grenadiers providing vision from inside that structure should give Paul some opportunities to bleed his opponent's huge amount of riflemen. 4 rifle squads upgraded with BARs. The other 2 probably receive them at some point. Ambulances on the field to try to get Price's blob healed before it makes a push back onto the front lines. And that's giving Paul a little bit of time to get some map control back and try and slow down the victory point clock. Price has a small VP lead, but nothing too serious. Paul will slow things down at about 420 victory points. Try and get the clock ticking against his opponent again. Ambulance is here, healing up Price's blob, and he still has not picked any form of tech or a commander. Just, he's made nothing literally but riflemen. Riflemen and BARs this game. There's the first LMG for Paul. In addition to his flamethrower, in addition to his mortar, he should have the tools he needs to defend at least some of his territory. Not sure what Price is doing here. Oh, buying more bars. LMG Grens will force retreat from that lone rifle squad here in the south, which will significantly weaken Price's next push. But a huge force of riflemen is on its way towards the south. No grenades, by the way. No grenades on this rifle blob, which means they are quite vulnerable to machine guns. Although with this sheer quantity of them, they might be able to just snipe a machine gun to death, even frontally, depending on how the engagement goes. With Grenadiers soaking up damage in the front, though, Paul easily wins that engagement. That squad retreats immediately because of the huge burst of damage they took. 2 squads, however, forced to retreat. The other 3 moving on the flank will put Paul in a pretty good position, only having to engage against 3 of 6 rifle squads for this engagement. He should be able to take it if he gets any good mortars or flame crits or anything. That flamethrower is getting laser beamed down very quick, though. Grenadiers in the church are not going to last much longer. Mortar firing in the area is not hitting anything because it's way down here. It's just going to go continue capturing territory. Grenadiers in the church have no choice but to retreat, and the S-mine field will easily be swept up by the minesweeper accompanying this blob, so Paul stood no chance in that engagement, unfortunately. Machine gun moves into a green cover position behind this truck, and he's kind of hoping that rifleman will just get into short range against him. LMG Grenadiers in the building will get forced out by the BAR blob very soon. Okay, there they go. Machine gun repositions into closer range against those riflemen, but they've taken control of the building, and Paul will have no choice but to try and backpedal to safety. He does have access to this route if he feels he needs it. Flamethrower moving up from the west with LMG Gren support, and Grenadiers that are stuck behind Price's lines are getting control of the cutoff right here, and the mortar has grabbed this strategic point in the south. Meanwhile, another squad of LMG Grenadiers positioned to green cover here in the north, and he's trying to pull Price's blob apart to the best of his ability, doing a pretty good job actually. Price being forced to split himself up to deal with various different squads, and Paul continues to advance and poke and prod from so many different angles. Look at that surround Paul has set up right now. Pulling a squad here back towards the cutoff with this LMG Grenadier squad. The mortar making its way back to a more defensive location, and the MG42 trying to get back into a defensive position here in the center. It's going to be a little risky to try and make it to that green cover, but it looks like he will. And Price is going to pull away from that engagement, sending his 3 squads of riflemen south to get control of that territory back. And a captain is finally on the field after a 6 rifleman opening. Ooh, what was that? Oh, that wipe! Oh, I didn't even see that. Squad retreating from the cutoff through an S-mine field goes down. Nice S-mine field there by Paul. And that squad was equipped with at least 1 BAR. So that's a pretty good pickup. Pretty good pickup right there. That squad might have to retreat through S-mines too.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Oh my god, so close. They get away very narrowly. Some really nicely placed S-mines by Paul this game. So Price is going to have to try to make good use of that minesweeper to get those cleaned up. That was almost 2 wipes because of those 2 retreat paths. Rifle grenade tossed on the captain right there. He'll have to retreat to a slightly safer position.
Keep low! Keep low! Use cover! We claimed it for the fatherland!
Squad will have to pull back to safety. Price kind of not doing that great this game, and Paul has gone close air support. I didn't see if he redistributed resources, but it looks like he probably might have. He's not battle phase. Ooh, he is battle phase 2. Okay, never mind. Maybe not. His map control is quite good though, so not sure. He just hit 6 CPs and will have access to anti-infantry strafe, so this behavior will get punished hard. LMG Grenadier Blob has no problem against that. Couple squads right there. Here comes the anti-infantry strafe, and Price is about to get pushed completely back into his base by this. There they go. Everything has to retreat, and Paul will maintain almost total map control right here with the mortar and grenadier squads making their way south to get control of everything, and Price just surrendered. Price just surrendered. He's not even gonna try, apparently. He's taken some losses. I don't know if I think the game was over. Had 178 fuel in the bank. Could have at least tried to pull the VPs down a little bit. Paul is going to take game 1 as Axis in the west base on Colony Fairmouth Summer in 13.5 minutes with a 414 VP victory. Let's see if Price can do any better in game 2 of the series.